So, why do I hate this tent? Stay tuned to find out. Well, hey guys, what's going on? It's Samantha from Lone Crow Adventures, the channel where we talk about all things camping, hiking, and backpacking. Today, we're reviewing the Coleman 10-person Darkroom Technology Instant Cabin Tent. Let's go. All right, so before we go any further, let's just address the obvious. Yes, it is snowing. No, it wasn't supposed to. This is the North Woods of Wisconsin and it's the spring, and a lot of times Mother Nature just sends you these unexpected surprises. But the snow actually had no factoring in on the reasons why I hate this tent. But I will tell you what I don't like about it. So before we go into talking about the things I don't like about this tent, let's spend some time talking about the things that this tent actually does well. If you're purchasing the Coleman Instant 10-person Darkroom Cabin Tent because you want a dark tent, guaranteed you're gonna be happy. It's pretty dark in here, but I actually have that swing style door open, so I'm gonna go ahead and close that and show you guys how dark this tent is. It is really dark inside of this tent. So if you're purchasing this tent, like I said, for a darkroom tent, it does that extremely well. I found at night, if you have a lantern or you have a flashlight or something, the walls actually kind of absorb the light so that it immediately illuminates that little area around you, which you're immediately looking at, and doesn't kind of cast a light everywhere, which could be good if you're, trying to read a book or something and other people are trying to sleep. But it can be bad if you've got a lantern up and you're rifling through bags and trying to find stuff. So that could either be a good point or a bad point, depending on why you wanted to purchase a darkroom tent in the first place. One of the interesting features, if not the most interesting feature on this tent, is the use of this swing out D-style door. And this whole door swings right out, so you can load your gear items right on the inside. And that's pretty much where all the good things end. So now I'm going to tell you all the things I hate about this tent. One of the things that you're going to notice is that if it is raining, if you use the back door, it immediately flops in, and of course it's going to have the added weight of the rain on top of it, so your tent is going to get a lot of water in it. Not to mention the fact that the design of the fly is tied out at the sides. When it rains, it kind of bows a little bit, and you get kind of this little mini waterfall that falls right down on the inside of the tent. So if you're using this tent in the rain, forget about the back door entirely. Flop out that door in the front that swings out, and then you're going to want to get out and get back in and zip it up before this little waterfall ends up right in your tent, because we got the same problem with the fly on the front as well. So here on the front, you can see if you want to get in and out of the tent rapidly, open this up. Any of the water that's sitting on here is going to be pulled outward. You can open that up, step in, close it behind you really quickly. Because as you can see, just from where the snow has kind of, and the ice has melted here, that this was where that little waterfall I was talking about was. I wasn't very impressed about that design. I would have liked to see Coleman add an additional tie-out point here, right here at this seam here, so that way we could draw this up, or even a fiberglass pole sty or something to be underneath of it to hold it up, just to give it a little bit more resistance right in the middle when it's raining. So let's talk about another big downfall of this tent, and that is storage. There are two storage pockets in this entire tent. One is right here in the corner against the back door, and another one is between the two side windows. There are two storage pockets, and that is it. There is no gear loft. There are no little crannies that you can put things in, and that for me is a really big problem, because this is a 10-person tent. So I'm assuming if you're looking at buying this, that you're gonna have at least maybe 6 people in this tent. So where are you gonna put things like phone, wallet, keys, glasses, and anything else that is fragile that you want kept up off the floor and protected against getting trampled? Unlike a lot of the instant cabin tents that Coleman makes and does really well on, it's not truly an instant cabin tent because you have this extra piece that you have to put on afterwards. When I think of an instant cabin tent, I think of something with that click lock design that it's up, I guy it out, I put the tent pegs in and peg it down, and then it's done. I'm done. I don't need to do anything else. But with this one, there is an extra step of putting on this rain fly. So I don't think that it should be called instant. When we set this up yesterday, it took between 15 to 20 minutes to get the tent up, get the fly on, get all the guy out points on, and put the tent pegs around the tent to secure it. So it wasn't truly instant. Now, Coleman provided you with a really nice braided strap, which is really secure, and I really like that. But then at the end, they put this elasticized cordage and then an S hook, and this is part of my issue. It's designed to just clip in to this little U hook that's down here at the foot of the tent. So it clips in there, and you can see it's nice and taut. The one thing I wish that they would have included with this is some additional strapping here, additional length, and then a little plastic slider clip so that you could adjust the tension of this tent fly, because right now this strap is not adjustable at all. And if you can adjust just the front corners and just pull them down a little bit more, it really helps to bring that fly taut across the door and prevent it from kind of collapsing in. So I wish that's something that they would have incorporated into this design. Other thing I'm really not wild about is the incorporation of this elastic cordage. You know, it's nice and taut right now, but I would imagine with exposure to UV rays and multiple uses that this is just going to stretch right out, and you'll be in this situation probably after the first year of using it where you're going to have to go out and buy some more elastic cordage to replace that to get it a little bit more taut, which isn't really a big deal. It's not an expensive repair, but we're talking about a tent that is in excess of $250. So you really shouldn't be thinking about things you're going to have to replace on it the very first time you set it up. We have a little bit of leakage right over here. And I mean, this is just very minimal, very, very minimal. If you were sleeping up on top of a camp mat and you had your sleeping bag, you would not even notice that there was any issues here. So you can see over here, this is directly underneath the side window. We have, of course, it's iced up now, but we do have some water that pooled here, and we also have water along the other window on the other side. So you get a little bit of water along both of the windows. So those are the points I found where this tent did leak. Now, Coleman also does provide a room divider. Now, if you are on the shorter side, like I am, you will have a hard time getting this hooked up. I can't actually reach this top S hook here to go through here. It's actually too tall, so I cannot set this room divider up on my own. I can put it up on the sides over here, like this. But if you notice, this is where it hooks up in the middle at the top. And let's see. Nope. Nope. Not a chance. So I'm 5'2", and I cannot actually fully assemble this tent if I want to use the room divider. So it loses some big points for that. But hopefully, you know, I'm abnormally short, so hopefully you're all taller than me, or you're camping with a tall person that can just clip that up there for you. The other part of the room divider that I'm not especially wild about is this big space here. So it attaches down here with an S hook, up here with an S hook, and then an S hook at the very top, and then repeats the pattern on the other side. Now these attachment points, it would have been nice if it would have had something to kind of clip it over here, but there is nothing over here for you to clip this on. And this is actually a T-tie designed for you to unzip this room divider to create a doorway and then roll it and keep it up out of the way. So it's a room divider, but there's still a lot of space there, so you know, you can still kind of see what's going on the other side. And because it's not very taut, using that zipper up and down the middle is really, really difficult because it kind of pulls this material over and it just doesn't function really well. So I bet you if you end up purchasing this tent, you're not even going to use this room divider because it's just not really well designed. So let's talk about something else that I don't like about this tent, at least for me, is the way it looks. To me, this looks like a tent that I would see set up at a carnival, or a tent that I would see vendors selling something out of. It doesn't scream camping, and that's just my personal preference. You might like the way that this tent looks, and that's just fine. But when I saw it on the website, I thought, you know, oh, it's kind of chic and kind of cool looking. But once I actually got it set up in real life, I realized, you know, it looks kind of hokey. You know, maybe I'm being a little critical, but it just looks too much like a carnival and less like a camping tent. So what's the verdict on the Coleman 10-person Instant Darkroom cabin tent? Well, I was pretty disappointed in this tent for a number of reasons, as we've discussed through the video. I would give its overall rating a 2.5 out of 5 crow rating. And that is for a multitude of factors. Number one, it's not instant. It actually does take a fairly good amount of time to set up. Number two, this rainfly system over the front door, in my opinion, is just unacceptable. There's just too much rain that's going to get in your tent when you're trying to get in and out of it, that it's just not okay. There should be some additional tie-out point there. And the other thing that I don't really like about this tent, I just don't like the way it looks, which, like I said, you know, could be a little superficial, and maybe you guys are going to blast me in the comments for that one, but I thought it looked great online, but when I got it up and set it up in real life, I just don't like the way that it looks. The other issue I have with it is that it did have some leakage yesterday. Not bad, but I wonder over time if that leakage is going to get worse. Now, you could always try to correct that issue by getting yourself a good quality seam sealer and applying it to the seams around the windows. I think if you went to the extra step of doing that, you definitely would be able to get 100% watertight seal on this tent. So if this is a tent that you got your heart set on, definitely take the time and, you know, take the money to put a little bit of seam sealant on the inside of the tent, because you'll be a lot happier with its performance in the rain. But in terms of the darkroom technology, the darkroom technology works extremely, extremely well. So if your main point of wanting to purchase this tent is to have a darkroom tent, it does perform really well in terms of the dark room. But there's just so many things I don't like about this tent. Again, with the tie-out points on the fly and all the other things we've mentioned in the video, that I really can't give it a strong rating on the channel. And actually, I'm gonna pack up this tent and I'm gonna send it back, because I'm just not happy with it. Well, thanks guys so much for checking out the review of the Coleman 10-person Instant Darkroom cabin tent. I will put links in the description below if you guys want some more information about this tent. If you haven't hit that subscription button, what are you waiting for? Go ahead and hit that. You know you can always count on me for honesty here at Lone Crow Adventures. Until next time, folks, we'll see you on the trail.